Now we will see glands. The definition of a gland is a cell or tissue or an organ which secretes chemicals having specific functions. Second is taste, identification mechanism. When food passes on the surface of the tongue, the sensory cells are chemically stimulated. The chemical impulses are then changed to electrical impulses. They are carried by the sensory nerve to the cerebrum of the brain where the taste is interpreted. Third, mentally retarded child has bad teeth and wrinkled skin. That is because the child is suffering from cretinism, which is the reason thyroxine is low in the thyroid gland of the newborn child. Fourth, hormones secreted by the gonads. Male gonads are testes and they secrete the hormone androgen. Okay, and produce male gametes or sperms. In the female gonads or ovary, they secrete estrogen and produce female gametes or eggs. What is the action of insulin on sugar in the blood? Insulin helps to convert glucose to glycogen and store it in the liver and muscles. Sixth one, prolactin. The function is to secrete milk. Thyroxine, it helps in physical and mental development. Then you have estrogen, feminine characteristics. Parathyroid, it concentrates salt in the blood and bones. Testosterone, that is the male characteristics it gives. Progesterone, that the uterus it changes. Two types of glands are there in human beings. One is exocrine and endocrine. Endocrine glands. Now we will see the second page of glands. Now you must remember the term as I have written there on the top, that is GMAT V flock. What is that? That is the first letters of all the different kinds of hormones that are secreted by the pituitary gland. Okay, so now you have nine hormones that are secreted. So the first one is growth hormone. Then you have now something known as the melanocyte stimulating hormone, which controls the synthesis of melanin in the skin. Then the third one is adrenocortical hormone, which regulates the stimulation of hormones of the adrenaline gland. Then you have thyroid stimulating hormone or the TSH, which stimulates the secretion of hormone of the thyroid gland. Then you have vasopressin, which controls the secretion of water from the kidneys. Then you have follicle stimulating hormone, which stimulates the production of gametes from the gonads. Then you have luteinizing hormone, which stimulates the secretion of female and male hormones from the sex hormones from the gonads. Then you have oxytocin or the birth hormone, which stimulates the contraction of the uterus muscles. Then you have prolactin, which stimulates the secretion of milk from the milk glands. Now the causes and the symptoms of diabetes mellitus. Okay, the reason is the secretion of hormones from the islets of Langerhans is reduced, which makes high level of glucose in the blood. The symptoms are glucose level is very high in the blood, and the excretion of glucose in the urine and frequent urination. Then you have thirst and tiredness or fatigue and sweating. Then you have the adrenaline gland secretion. Okay, now the adrenaline gland, first secretion is adrenaline cortex, which secretes the hormone which is called cortisone, which regulates the metabolism and concentration of salts in the blood. Then you have adrenal medulla, which secretes three hormones: non-adrenaline, dopamine and adrenaline, and they regulate the heart rate, the beating rate, heart breathing rate, and blood pressure. Now we will see hormones. In man and in animals, the transfer of information from one part of the body to another part of the body is done by chemical signals through the blood. How? By the endocrine system. That is a group of glands. Then you have electrical signals, which is through the nerves. That is in the sense organs, brain, spinal cord, nerves, muscles, gland systems, and the nervous system. Second, the major endocrine glands are pituitary gland, parathyroid gland, adrenaline gland. Then you have the gonads and the islets of Langerhans. Third one, irritability. That is the response to change in the environment of a living organism. Then you have response, that is the reaction of an organism to stimulus. Then you have plant hormones. They are the chemicals which bring about coordination in the coordination among the different parts of the plant. Then you have the growth regulation in plants. They are auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins. You must remember the spelling of each of them. Now we will see the brain and its functions or uses. Okay, if there is an injury to the brain in the left side, that is the left cerebral hemisphere, then paralysis will take place in the right side. Similarly, if there is an injury on the right side, paralysis will be on the left side. The reason is because the right part of the brain, it controls the left side, and the left part of the brain, it controls the right side. Second, pons. That controls the respiratory center. And second, spinal cord. That controls the reflex action. third you have medulla oblongata that controls the terminal part of the brain. Then fourth you have cerebellum that controls the balance of the body. Then fifth you have hypothalamus that controls the pituitary gland. Now you have the third question, that is the functions of the various parts of the nervous system. That you have the functional parts are receptors, effectors and conductors. Fourth question, meninges. Meninges. The central nervous system in man, it is has different parts. Okay, that is the brain, spinal cord, and all these are surrounded by three membranes. Together they are called the meninges. Fifth question, the three layers in the meninges are outer layer, then you have the middle layer, that is the hypoid, and the third, that is the inner pia mater. Then the sixth question, you have nervous system. What is the uses or the functions? The nervous system, it helps to control and coordinate different activities and functions of the body, and it helps the organism to respond to different stimuli. Number 7, the nervous system importance. What is the important uses? It controls all the reflex actions of the body. Then it controls and coordinates different activities and different functions of different organs. Then the third, it regulates voluntary and involuntary activities of the body. It helps to adjust the body to the environment. Then it helps to think, to reason and to remember. Then you have 8, the basic unit of the nervous system is nerve cell. Nerve cell or the neuron. Then you have in ninth you have the 3 different neurons. You have sensory neuron, second motor neuron, and the third is the mixed neuron. Then you have 3 divisions of the nervous system in a human being. That is the central nervous system. Then you have the peripheral nervous system. Then you have the autonomous nervous system.